It's the Pop Episode Podcast.
And now your host,
Episode.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be coming from, and wherever you may be going to. We wish you safe journeys and safe passage, and welcome you to the Papa South Podcast. All right, welcome to the Papa South Podcast. I am here with our co-host, Brass Lantern. How are you doing today, Brass Lantern?
Oh, doing good. Happy to be here.
Always a pleasure to have you from across the seven seas. We got the jam-packed show today. We got a couple of Twitter files to get to. We got some trailers today. We got Spider Noir, Ironheart, Jurassic World Afterbirth, Predator, Killer of Killers, and a little Superman 2 trailer. So I'll have a reaction to that. We'll be talking some Andor Season 2 wrap-up, because we missed out on it the other week. Some Fantastic Four reshoots, Doomsday Delays. We got MCU changes to their streaming format, Thunderbolts Flop, and of course Matt Reeves exiting the Batman Part 2. We're looking forward to talking with everybody, and looking forward to seeing you all here today. Weather's good down in Australia. Everything's going well.
Oh yeah, it's going well. It's getting cold for winter.
Well, that's right. Well, we're hoping not to see winter here for quite some time, and definitely wishing you all the best down there with that. Decided to add a little intro music for our show notes and that, supplied by The Resonator. Of course, everybody's links are going to be in the description below. I'm going to check that out, and let's get to a couple hellos out there. Who do we got in the chat right now? We got podcast Patti, and hello to you both, especially my best friend Papa South. Love you, best friend. Love you too, Patti, sending me this fantastic Big B / Detroit Tigers cup all the way from Michigan. Thank you so much, Patti. Love you very much, and we'll just pop that up there for everybody to see real quickly. Thanks for being our producer and big part of the show. Always appreciate it. Love you very much. All right, so without further ado, let's talk a little bit about our very first look at Galactus here. All right, so we are looking at Galactus, and oh boy,
Did we get a confirmation on who's playing him?
hey, you were right about the Javier. Was it the
Javier, yeah.
Yeah, Javier, for sure. So this is our first look at him. I'm just going to ask your thoughts on what do you think. I know what I'm already thinking about it, but tell us
It's a
your
very
thoughts.
dark costume. Where's the bright colors?
Absolutely, maybe they'll do a little something with the rendering as far as lighting and such. When I've looked at it time after time, like, it's one thing to say, hey, it's great that he's, comic book accurate, but the more I look at the textures, especially in the face and such, I found that I don't know, he almost looks like a PS5 or PS4 kind of graphic.
I do like the second image a lot more than the first one. You know how he's really big in the background. I do like that.
100%. So that is telling us we probably should get some giant sized Galactus at some point. Who knows, maybe even bigger than Earth or whatever planets. And I think it's now the 848 that the Fantastic Four are coming from. Again, myself, like I said, not loving the textures so much, but hoping with, maybe some of the rendering and just how it blends into the actual footage that he's in, that it might look better. Right now, I'm thinking it looks a little weak, but that's just me.
Yeah, it's very dark.
Yeah.
I want some bright purple.
We want some Lakers purple in there.
Yeah.
the MCU, you never know, maybe they'll switch it up to be LeBron James or something like that.
I do
But
like the costumes that the Fantastic Four have, though. That looks really good.
agreed. I like that kind of little bit of the retro look to them. I like kind
Yeah.
of like the sweater piping, if that's what you want to call it.
Hmm.
I do like that look. I know they're kind of going for this kind of futuristic kind of 60s look as it is, but I do like the costumes. Just and compared to, was it the Fox one, not getting no
It was just that really dark blue.
it was that dark blue, and at least we won't be getting no naked thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got his own suit.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just hope Johnny Blaze's suit don't burn up after. There's one thing I'd love. I just want an explanation about them just saying, hey, we made his suit somehow fire retardant or something like that, because
We hired Edna from The Incredibles to make the suit.
there you go. Lantern, that is probably the best take of the week so far, and we're just getting started. Let's hope that everything blends in well, and it looks good, and you are right though. It does look really, 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 really dark, but again, let's just hope with the rendering things work out with that.
Yeah.
All right. Next on our little Twitter files here, everybody's favorite beefcake, so to speak. Oh boy, who do we got as our possible? There we are. My time to shine. Hello. Ryan Gosling is our top front runner for Ghost Rider so far. How are you feeling about the Gauze possibly being our...
At least it's not Pedro Pascal. I actually thought Nick Cage's Ghost Rider was so fun.
Totally was a fun Ghost Rider. I wouldn't have minded to see him come back as a Ghost Rider.
This could work, though.
I think it could work.
Gosling's definitely a decent actor.
He's a great actor. I know they're thinking about doing a Rambo prequel, and they were talking about him for a bit as being Mr. John Rambo. My only... leave it to me to be a critic of everything. My only issue with the Gauze is his age. Like, I know he's world renowned, and it just kind of reminds me of like when I'm doing fan casting with my buddies, and you're like, who do you want to play this like college student? And you're like, oh, Brad Pitt would be great. And it's like, he's 60.
Yeah, we'll get Tom Cruise to play the college student.
Exactly. I do hope they would bring in the same effects artist from the Cage Ghost Rider series.
Yeah.
Was definitely excellent. For those who have seen part 2 at the very end, I don't know if anybody knows that they added a little fart joke in that when he turned into the Blue Angel at the end. So, not the worst pick in the world, for sure.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you had anybody else that you would have liked to see play Ghost Rider.
No, this could work for me. I like Ryan Gosling.
I'm just happy it's not it's still not confirmed, but like I just hope it's not Norm Reedus. I'm just...
Oh yeah, no, that could be bad.
Yeah,
definitely. I liked him in The Walking Dead and a video game, Death Stranding. That was good too, but I don't think he's that strong of an actor to hold up a series like Ghost Rider.
Agreed 100%.
I mean, he looks the part though, but looking the part and doing the part justice are two completely different things.
Couldn't agree more with you. So with that said, Mr. Ghost Rider Ryan Gosling, we wish you the best. Mr. Who's Ken and Barbie, if I remember.
Yeah. But, best character in that whole movie.
I never did see it. Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like a big I never really grew up playing with Barbies. That wasn't my thing. That was my sister's thing. But that was a fantastic movie. It was hilarious.
Fair enough. One day I'll have to give it a go. I know there was the whole Barbenheimer thing, and I'm going to be honest, I hated Oppenheimer. First, I was watching that one with my mom, and like the first 20 minutes, I just looked there. I was just like, I hate this. I came back like half an hour later. It's like, I still hate it, but
Yep.
that's neither here or there. So, yeah, now for our favorite Jedi from a galaxy far, far away, the man I've been trying to get blocked by for quite some time. Oh boy, Mr. Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill will not be returning as Luke Skywalker again. His little
Thank God.
You know it. I had my time. I really think they should focus on the future and all the new characters. So obviously you're in the club of saying I'm done with Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker.
I'm just done with the story that they put Luke through.
Yeah, I guess it was Last Jedi where they just kind of, if you want to call it, botched it.
Yeah. That's a nice way of putting it.
100%. How do you feel about his inclusion in the Mandoverse?
It didn't add anything. Like, it was pretty unnecessary. It did not need to be there. They could have used a plethora of other characters to achieve the same result.
Yeah, agreed. If they do go forward with Luke Skywalker stories, would you like to see recast as an older Luke Skywalker? Let's say maybe like a Sebastian Stan, or
I was going to say I'd love to see Sebastian Stan play Luke Skywalker, because he does look a lot like young Mark Hamill.
He totally does. Even though he's probably 50 at this point. But
oh well, he's aging well.
He does age well. If we were also fortunate enough to have their plastic surgeons and stuff, that would be a treat for sure. Definitely Sebastian Stan could do the trick. And I'll be honest, even like the guys that did the effects for the Mandoverse, I was pretty pleased with how he looked. And I know originally Disney had done their thing, and then these YouTubers, special effects guys, came in and said, hey, we could do it for pennies on the dollar. So, with the price of Disney stock right now, maybe that's an option for them. But
yeah, definitely.
Regardless, I am happy to see Mark Hamill being, hopefully he sticks his word. I'm happy to see him done with the whole Star Wars universe. And Mr. Mark Hamill, you know my thoughts on you. I know you're not listening, but if the Force carries my message, good riddance. All right. Next on the Twitter notes, with the LGBTQ month ahead. Well, Hunter Schaffer is reportedly being eyed to play Princess Zelda in the live-action Legend of Zelda. For those who don't know, guys, put it away real quickly. This is a tranny, right? More power to them.
Zelda's the first game I ever played.
So is this ruining it for you?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
They need to stick to animation. I'm really sick of live action. This could have been a phenomenal animated movie.
Kind of like Super Mario Bros.
Yep. Very much like Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, I think honestly for that universe, I'm gonna agree with you. They should have stuck with just if you're gonna go with Mario being an animated movie, you might as well do the rest of the franchise, because eventually you're gonna want like Super Smash Brothers or something like that, where you have them all on screen together, and might be a little bit wonky as far as mixing. Be like Roger Rabbit mixing the live with the animated. Don't get me wrong, they did that well, but I just girl from Andor, her name's escaping me right now, the lesbian girl. If they were going to go live action, I would have went with her. She looked a lot like Zelda.
Yeah.
But
Anya Taylor-Joy, she looks a lot like Zelda as well.
There you go. Is this I was about to say Disney, but this isn't Disney. I can't remember who's producing the Nintendo films. Do you think this is just kind of like pandering to a certain audience, or do you think they really just think this is the best actor for the job?
I don't think it's the best actor for the job, but to be fair, I haven't seen Hunter in anything before.
Me too. I did read an article earlier that I can't find now, but from my time to shine hello, that was saying that everybody don't freak out. This was like someone they reached out to like last year or something, and it's by no means a definite thing for sure. That said, I love your take that this should be an animated series, and
Yeah.
I think you could honestly, you could do a lot more with an animated series as far as letting the audience expand their imagination, kind of like I guess Into the Spider-Verse, where they can just pull off more things that's believable to the audience because it is animated.
Yeah. It's easier to show animation, like fight scenes, that kind of stuff,
Exactly.
than it is for live action. It also probably wouldn't cost as much to make.
For sure. Just real quickly, want to do a little, although they were earlier, a little hello from King Shadow, giving you a shout out. Thanks for being a supporter of us for quite some time now. Appreciate you popping in when you can, and hopefully you enjoy a little Brass Lantern broadcast and Papa South podcast and make a great evening of it. All right. Now, as far as I know, this isn't one of like your bigger franchise that you like to enjoy, but Papa South is a sucker for big lizards and the big gorillas. We are talking Godzilla versus Kong, X Kong, whatever you want to call it, Supernova, the next installment in the Godzilla X Kong franchise. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. I remember seeing it's not Nerd Film Theory, I think it's called. A little interesting part. Did you ever see Pacific Rim? I guess would be my
I did. I loved that film.
Excellent kaiju film.
That was super exciting.
Yeah, big robots and giant monsters. I don't think you can go wrong. I never saw the sequel with John Boyega. I probably should get around to that. But you are
I
a fan?
haven't seen that either. Yeah, fan.
So, what if I told you in Godzilla X Kong Supernova they were going to do a crossover with Pacific Rim?
Go for it. That sounds really good. Like, it'd be fun to watch.
100%.
Good popcorn film.
Love them popcorn films. 100% on that. So people that were involved with Pacific Rim: Dan Mendel, John Schaefer, Stephen Deschamps, Sarah Finn, Jay Ashenfelter, and Thomas Tall are all now on production with Godzilla X Kong Supernova. And also, so in that Film Theory channel last year, they were talking about Godzilla X Kong. Whether you saw it or not, we all saw Kong with the big robot hand, so to speak, or the power glove, the Nintendo power glove he was wearing. Remember that from the trailers?
I haven't seen the film.
Okay, fair enough. So there's a point where there's a kaiju that freezes Godzilla's hand, and they got to give him like this big, like robotic kind of glove to help heal it. And then this Film Theory channel, when they like start zooming in on stuff and all that, they're realizing like the blueprints and all that were identical to like Pacific Rim, right down to the name of the company that was on there, parts from their actual robot. So right now, I'm going to say this is confirmed. and just totally love the idea that we might just get some giant sized mech robots going in with our Godzilla and Kong. You think this is going to be something that's going to help be a bigger draw to the audience to bring them in?
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of people who liked Pacific Rim. It was a really cool idea for a movie.
Agreed. And I'm sure the people that like is it the Gungam? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure all sorts of people who watch that would probably be all stoked to get some giant mechs fighting our favorite Godzilla and favorite Kong. Like I said, I'm a sucker for the old films and even the newer ones. None of them will compare to Godzilla -1. Have you seen that by chance?
I haven't. I've been meaning to watch it.
When you're done today, and if you have a nice sunny afternoon ahead, definitely spend some time with it. It's probably the best dang Godzilla film I've ever seen. Feels like it's totally different than the Godzilla X Kongs. It feels very much like the old. It's pretty much a remake of the original, just like with better graphics and better actors and stuff. So
Okay.
definitely give that a go. Furthermore, in our little Twitter files here, the movie that seems to never ever seem to be getting made. I think it's 2018 when they announced it. Blade. Oh boy. So Wesley Snipes' Blade trilogy writer is ready to help Marvel's delayed reboot get made. What in the world is going on? Why is this taking so long? That's David S. Goyer. Was he the one who originally did Suicide Squad as well?
Oh, I'm not 100% sure.
I know like that was another Goyer. I just don't know if it's the same Goyer. At this point, with all the delays and new writers and new directors, what seems to be every couple of months, do you think it is about time for David S. Goyer to step in and give the MCU a hand?
I didn't think that they were ever actually going to make this film.
I'm kind of there too. I think when
It's not a hard idea to grasp, though. Like Blade, vampires, Marvel, easy.
100% Lantern. I can't disagree with you on that. You know,
I think their focus is probably elsewhere.
Elsewhere, as in other things happening in the MCU.
Definitely.
Maybe trying too hard to try to connect it to a potential Midnight Suns down the road or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. I would love to see him step in. Now, Blade 3, I was not a fan of at all, but the first two, I thought they were dynamite.
Yeah, I agree. The first two are good.
And
the third one had way too much Ryan Reynolds in it.
Agreed. And I know you don't have Tim Hortons down there, but now Ryan Reynolds is doing Tim Hortons commercials down here, and it's just too much Ryan Reynolds anywhere. But I guess he has to make up for some lost bucks from Blake Lively or whatever her name is.
Oh, his wife.
Yeah. But to your point, this shouldn't be a hard movie. Vampires bad, Blade good. Kill vampires and
give it an R rating. You'd be fine.
100%.
Put some gore in there. Let Blade swear.
Yep. Yeah, not gonna disagree with you on that. A good hard R on this would definitely. I think like the first one was like 14A or something like that, and even then, it was a fabulous film.
It's pretty brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. They had that special presentation 2 years ago or so on Disney Plus with the vampire one, and now the name's escaping me, but something by night. It was like a black and white kind of 50s.
I can't think of what it's called.
Honestly, that was like one of my favorite things Marvel's done in years. Might be nice to see them both cross over, but at this point, we wish the Blade production all the best. Mahershala Ali, I can't pronounce his name. I think it's time for him to exit and just move on to other projects, and maybe with the inclusion of Wesley Snipes in Deadpool and Wolverine, maybe it's time to consider bringing him back. All right, little video game news again, getting into the month of Pride Month. Grand Theft Auto 6 must make main character LGBT sex symbol. Is Rockstar turning back on gamers? It's how they said gamers. How clever was that?
That's good.
I think it's just way too much, like if you what's your thoughts?
Well, the last Grand Theft Auto game I played was San Andreas.
Me too.
So I'm not really up to date with my Grand Theft Auto, but you don't need to do this to characters for people to relate to them.
Absolutely.
And it's such a small demographic that they would be targeting with doing this.
Agree 100% with you. I think it's unnecessary. Let's just hope this is like rumor for right now. Like I'm pretty sure there's going to be like almost every game costume upgrades, stuff like that. And if you want to make them wear like a big rainbow outfit or something like that,
pink afro,
you got you got her, have at it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like you said, the demographic is just so small that you don't need to necessarily make it something that you include in the game. Let your own imagination run wild, and you can make him what like if you're upset that he's straight and dating the girl that's in the trailer for this game, if you want to pretend that she's a trans and he's gay, have at her. Again, I just think it's something unnecessary for the actual game itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Today, big happenings on Doctor Who. Spoiler alert, Doctor Who was regenerated into a new character at the end of the episode. So for those who haven't seen it, we're just going to show you what they did here.
I haven't seen it, so please spoil away.
And it is going to happen. I'm just gonna. Where's my folder here? Apologize for the delay, folks. Lantern, can you sing them a song or something like that to keep everybody happy for right now?
Hey, we could talk about our favorite doctors while we wait.
Hey, why don't you list them off for me and tell me who your favorite doctors are?
Well, I haven't watched any of I'm just going to say it, the old school Doctor Who. So I'd probably start with Matt Smith. Super fun. Great charisma. Second favorite, I really liked Peter Capaldi as the Doctor. It was nice to see an older actor play him after Matt Smith. And then Christopher Eccleston. I'm not the biggest Tennant fan, so out of all the new Doctors, that would be my list.
Really, not a Tennant fan, eh?
Yeah, not particularly.
I just need half a minute here. I'm looking for a folder that should be showing up, and it's not. Oh, and I work so hard on this for everybody just to make it happen. Keep on telling me about your favorite Who's there, and I'm gonna.
My favorite companions.
Yeah, there you go.
I loved the Ponds, Amy and Rory, fantastic characters. Not a big fan of Clara, but that's just me. I thought she
Fair
was too
enough.
bossy.
Aren't they all bossy? Especially this
Yeah,
new
but
one
not
here.
bossy the way Donna Noble was, and she was the good kind of bossy.
Well, you know,
I liked Donna.
I've dated enough of them to find out the hard way.
Yeah.
Let's try this again and hope for the best.
But yeah, I think Matt Smith got the best stories for the Doctor to kind of do.
All right, without further ado, we're going to be looking at our new Doctor here. Did somebody call a doctor? All right, a little haha for
great.
everybody. You know, Dr. South. It couldn't get any much worse than what it already is. Are you in for a Dr. South?
Hell yeah.
All right, that's what we like to hear. In all reality, it's Billy Piper. I have no idea who that is, but Billy Piper will be your new Doctor going forward. So,
Oh, we got someone new in the chat.
oh, someone new in the chat. All right.
Howdy.
Let's see. He's saying howdy to the Devastator. All right. Howdy back to you, Devastator. Appreciate you showing up. Appreciate all your support on Twitter X, and welcome to the Papa South podcast.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
You got her. The Brass Lantern broadcast on that. Again, appreciate your support and giving us a join here. Hope you're having a fabulous weekend. And and so let me pull up something real quickly. Quick word from our sponsor. Are you in the Edgerton, Ohio area? Do you got some scrap that needs to be removed? Do you got a storage unit that needs emptied, a fence to be taken down, any type of maybe little handyman work? Give our friend Reliable Rick Richardson a shout. Gets great rave reviews from all of his clients. I know him personally. He is a great guy. Be a great time to help out his family in this economy that's kind of gone to the shitter. But he really does some great work. And like I said, from all of his posts from his clients. So again, you got scrap metal that needs removed, storage unit to be cleaned out, fence taken down, you name it. Reliable Rick Richardson is your guy. And again, if you're in the 40-mile radius of the Edgerton, Ohio area in the States, he's American made, American strong. You can reach him at junk_man4060 at yahoo.com. Again, that is junk_man4060 at yahoo.com. Check out Reliable Rick Richardson for any of your scrap, storage removal, or any other type of things that you might need done. That this guy 100% I back him 100%. I wouldn't put him on here if I didn't. So again, junk_man4060 at yahoo.com. It's Triple R Recycling with Reliable Rick Richardson. All right. So are you ready to do a little trailers, Lantern?
Yeah, let's do the trailers.
Let's do the trailers. Excited for this. Clearing up some space here. Here we go. So, first on the docket, super excited for this one. Let's give this a watch together, and then get your thoughts on it and all that other good stuff.
He's a mess. Have you seen it out there? The city's a mess. The people could use a hero. I hope they find someone.
Yeah, I'm keen for that.
So yeah, right off the bat, first reactions. What are you thinking?
I love the way it's filmed. Sin City is one of my favorite movies, and I loved how that looked. It's
I'm
nice to see something that's just focusing on cinematography rather than, big flashy explosions and CGI everything. It's going to be a nice, refreshing change.
absolutely 100% on board with that. Sin City, definitely loved it. This definitely evokes feelings of it. Again, you're right. Like, just the cinematography just looks fantastic. Everybody loves the cage.
Hmm.
The way it's filmed, like, I know we didn't see a whole lot, but like, even the way they did the action scenes there with him kind of taking out the baddie there, it has a real like artistic feeling on top of it as well.
Yeah.
uh and you're right, it's a refreshing change from just the norm of what we get. I can't say, maybe not for the MCU, but do you think, even though it's on Prime, so if we have to compare it like apples to oranges, do you think this is going to do better than the Sonyverse as far as Spider-Man movies go?
Oh, I don't think so, but it'll do better in a different way. I think people are going to have a little bit of a different conversation about this than what they do with, let's just say Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
For sure. Not going to disagree with that. I think, whether it does better than the actual Sonyverse Spider-Man movies, I think it'll do better numbers than their spin-offs, Madam Web,
Oh, of course.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uh, Definitely feeling Nick Cage for this, and
If they had done Madam Web in the same style, it actually could have been really good.
true. You never know. Maybe they make her a cameo for this. I know it's very early on. It's not out till next year. Do you think they're better off putting something like this on a Prime, or do you think it would have done better with a theatrical release?
A theatrical release would have been nice because I do like watching movies like this in the cinema, but I'll settle for Prime. I think it'll work for him.
I think it'll also work for Prime. Maybe it could be a jumping board to see how it does on Prime, and then maybe bring it into the theater, depending on
Yeah, they could always do a theatrical release later on.
100%. Do you think if this if this movie does bank, could you see them bringing Nick Cage into the MCU as Spider Noir through the whole multiverse thing, or do you think this is kind of like a one and done? Not to say that there won't be other seasons, but do you think this is more just something they're going to want to keep separate from the overall?
Yeah, I feel like it's the way they did Daredevil, where it's just going to be entirely separate from what they're doing in the MCU right now.
Fair enough, with potential maybe down the road.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Do you think the MCU needs to explore more, although it's like not an MCU film per se, do you think MCU needs to explore more Elseworld movies? Where it's just kind of like, the many stories of that doesn't necessarily tie into the bigger connective tissue.
Yeah, it would be a good idea. Like just doing anthology stories like we were talking about last time, how it's not actually connected to the grand scheme of Marvel, but it still has something to do with Marvel.
Yeah.
So you don't have to watch a million different movies and TV series just to understand what's happening. It's like it just stands on its own.
100%. I'm on board with that. I'm big fan, like you said, we talked about it last time. I'd like to see a little more anthology stuff. That way you can have different takes, different directors, even different actors come in, and it doesn't seem so sloppy when they do it that way. But But yeah, I think anthology films can definitely help the MCU. I think it could help a lot of different franchises where they're more a one and done, and it's a good popcorn film for everybody to enjoy. So overall, do you think this is going to be a hit or a flop?
I can see it being a hit, but not with everyone.
Fair enough. Myself, I am going to go with a hit on this. I think Cage has enough good face stored in the fans, and I think I'm calling this one a hit.
Nice.
All right. So looks like we're both looking forward to a little Nick Cage either way. Me and Lantern. Maybe we'll do a watch party together when that comes out. And
Oh yeah, that could be fun.
I think so. Definitely have to set up some timing on that, but I definitely give that a go with you. So next on our list of trailers, this one's definitely a little bit of a longer one. Oh boy. Well, we got a little Ironheart for everybody, and let's see what this Ironheart is.
Hello?
I'm already hating it.
For real?
Welcome, Mary. In less than 3 minutes, the air in this elevator will no longer be breathable.
Oh, what is this?
Your interview. You'll suffocate and die unless you break into the device on the floor, where you'll find a gas mask. Good luck.
Screw this.
I heard Riri Williams was a genius.
From who?
So, you went her out.
Apparently from RDJ.
Riri, I see you. I see you're fed up, waiting to be acknowledged for your greatness.
You are not the first genius at MIT. How come you're not working at one of those fancy tech firms?
After my internship abroad, I want to build something undeniable. Something
Important.
iconic.
I hate this.
I can give you
Yeah.
this to help you carry out your vision. But anyone who's ever accomplished anything iconic in life has had to do some questionable things to get it done.
Don't think that's a great message to be sending to the black youth.
What will you do, Riri?
You've bitten off a hell of a lot more than you can chew.
I could chew a lot.
You know nothing about this man.
You're gonna end up dead or in jail.
This is so much bigger than that.
This is wild. A shady bunker.
My bunker's not shady. Would a shady bunker have that on the wall?
It's literally
I hate
above a
it.
crate of self-guided missiles.
I'm returning those.
Do we know when this is supposed to be set in the MCU timeline?
I
Like Iron
believe
Man's
it-
definitely.
Nope. Still with me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be current day.
Okay.
Just
'Cause-
past the
Because her so-called iconic tech is like the same type of tech that Iron Man was using, I think, in the first Avengers. Maybe.
yeah, that's just it. And she wasn't necessarily building it in their garage. So first
Because
reaction,
Tony got up to nanotech before he passed on.
100%. So I guess that's like saying someone wants to make an iconic video game system and then brings out the Atari.
Yeah, right.
Did you hate it as much as I did? That would be my first question.
It was cringy, really cringe.
Yeah, it feels like it's been put together by like somebody who does like rap videos.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I don't think there's anything new with this. So one of the things a lot of people have been talking about is that it seems to be like a trailer that's not getting a lot of traction and not getting a lot of publicity, if that's what you want to call it. Like they're not really pushing it. Do you think the MCU is intentionally just trying to hide this and just kind of hopefully it's done and forgotten?
Yeah, they're probably hoping it flies under the radar.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that. I do think that I think when they started it thinking at the time that this was a great idea, but now knowing how crowds are reacting to, let's call it the DEI kind of films and such, that now they're just kind of hoping that it's going to go away. So I got an interesting question. The question's kind of like, how do you think the numbers are going to be for this? That said, Black Panther, love it or hate it, I think a lot of the numbers it did well was because it was more of a movement than it was a great film.
It was positioned well in the timeline as well for, maximum visuals. Like people went and saw it because it was, did it come out? I'm just trying to think of which movies came out around it.
Ooh.
Like Civil War was after, yeah. So it was in a really good time in Marvel movie history for it to be released.
Really good call on that.
Much like Captain Marvel, that couldn't have come out at a better time.
Yep.
For such a terrible movie.
Not gonna lie, Papa North's still a fan of the Brie Larson.
Well, you like what you like.
That's it, right? So I do have like a related article to this that I'm gonna ask you about, involving a little Mr. RDJ. Ironheart, Dominique Thorne got 2 thumbs up from Robert Downey Jr. Let's see if I can just get to the main quote here. And of course, it's gonna and it's going to take me down to the end of this article before I get to the end of it. Okay, at the end of the day, sorry folks, we're just cutting that article short there. There we go. So the quote was that RDJ gave his thumbs up to this movie, saying like, "Oh, she's going to be a great Ironheart, and everybody's going to love her, and she's going to be like the next coming of Iron Man." Do you think that was more of a PR move to help hype this film, or do you think that was some genuine RDJ love?
Probably a PR move. He's definitely paid to make sure that the other films do well.
I'm going to agree. As the flagship character of I know Spider-Man's kind of like the flagship character of Marvel, but RDJ is kind of like the flagship man of the whole MCU. I'll definitely agree with you that is probably more like, hey, we pay you big bucks, you got to promote everything for us, whether you like it or not.
Yep.
Overall, I'm not seeing great things for this film, but
I'm not very excited for it, to be honest.
So at the end of the day, do you think this will be a hit, or do you think it'll be a flop?
Oh, easy flop. Who knows how much they spent in producing this as well?
Yeah, let's hope that their budget on this wasn't like way out there. It's going to be a whole lot of lost money, and I don't think it helps the MCU any going forward. But they have decided to make some changes to their format. So that said, we will talk about that a little bit later. So I guess next up on the docket, Jurassic World Afterbirth. We'll pause here like so. For once, I'd like to see the person at least get halfway through the door and then ripped back in.
Yep.
The closed door is just so cliche.
Survived there alone.
The theme park owners did experimental work, leaving only the worst ones here.
Do you love some swimming T-Rex?
So much CGI.
It is a time. I'm sure it'll be in IMAX. I don't know if it'll be in 3D. I think some of those dinosaurs might look really cut out in the 3D and not as sharp as it should be.
If we get this DNA, millions of lives are saved.
Didn't I see this in the Uncharted movie?
Maybe we should make this quick, huh? Time to move.
We put ourselves in a place where we don't belong. Survival is a long shot.
That's kind of our specialty.
She's scared. She's scared of.
Come on, run!
We're not gonna let you get hurt, okay?
Sounds like Michael Bay did the soundtrack. The big wah.
Yep.
Then was the source. We found it? No, it found us.
These are the outtakes from Jungle Cruise, apparently.
That comes out soon.
Yeah, I hate it when the trailers just don't throw you that little like one-liner at the end of all the little mini credits. So, initial reactions to the trailer.
I haven't been keen for a Jurassic movie in quite some time, and this is no exception.
Fair enough.
I'm interested to see Scarlett Johansson in this, but not enough to go and pay some hard-earned cash to see it in the cinema.
Especially when you're saving for a gaming computer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to agree with you on that. I'll wait for it to come out on streaming, streaming where I don't have to pay for it, like even if it takes a year. I didn't see the last one, the one before that with Chris Pratt. Didn't mind it. Overall, like myself, I wasn't like a big fan of the Jurassic Park series. I don't know. Feels kind of generic.
The originals are good.
Yeah, the originals were all right. I think at the time when the first one came out, it came out at the same time as T2, and I was more impressed with the effects in Terminator 2 with the T1000. I watched some documentary on it. It was like it was not some easy work. Dinosaurs were easier to make, but
yep.
This, I don't know. This kind of seems like a generic dinosaur movie to me. Do you think for the overall fan base, this is going to reinvigorate the franchise, or do you think it's just another film of dinosaurs?
Well, I mean, the Jurassic universe, they've got so much, merch. They got Lego, toys, all kinds of stuff out there. Like, kids like these movies.
Yep, I'm not gonna disagree with that. Like you said, with the toys and the Lego, Lego for adults, I'm sure it's gonna sell a ton of them.
Yeah.
For the
I
adults,
don't think the universe really needed any reinvigorating. It's still pretty popular.
fair enough. So this is, I guess, my one qualm with starting off the franchise this way. So we've gone from T-Rex to Velociraptors to mutant dinosaurs, and I'm not poo-pooing the mutant dinosaur thing, but where does, like, as far as like being a spectacle and saying we're going bigger and badder, do you think they're really even able to go bigger than mutant dinosaurs? Like, I guess like the next one's like mech dinosaurs or something, but like
the next one they'd be into like the Godzilla Kong universe where it's very big and fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. And then what if you do that, now you're competing with another franchise.
Monsterverse, yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I don't think it was a good idea to start off with rebooting the franchise right away with mutant dinosaurs, because I don't think
there's nowhere to go upwards from there.
Exactly. Although that one that I saw with Chris Pratt, where they were going to introduce dinosaurs just like into your everyday neighborhoods and stuff like that, I think I would like a jumping point from there. I think there was a lot more you can do a story, and where you can go somewhere where you don't have to worry about going bigger with mutant dinosaurs. But
yeah, just make them smarter.
There you go. Maybe give them like a little voice thingy so they can talk, or crossover. I don't know.
Like Planet of the Apes style kind of thing.
100%. You're talking to Papa South's heart right now. Love me my Planet of the Apes. Great take, Lantern, and such a good take. Papa South forgot what he was gonna say after that. So well done. You've left Papa South speechless. Hype for the film?
I'm not hyped for it, but I'm sure there are people out there that are.
Agreed. I'm not rushing to the theater to see this one. Like I said, I'll wait for it to be free on streaming, or find it on the internet somewhere where I don't got to pay for it, or get it at some convenience store on some knockoff DVD with a handheld cam or something like that. Overall, flop or box office hit?
Oh, it depends. They've probably spent a lot of money on this, but it could be a hit.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
I'm in the middle. Like, it could go one of two ways.
I can agree with you. Like, they probably spent, like you said, a buttload of money on this.
It's a lot of CGI.
I think they'll make their money back. I think they'll classify it as a hit. It might do like 50 to 100 million over the budget. I don't necessarily consider that like, big hit, but
yeah,
we'll call it breaking even on this one.
Return on investment.
Nice. Return on investment. We'll take it. Well, is it? I didn't even look at the production company, but yeah, return on investment. Good on you guys for that one. Oh boy, this next one I personally am pretty dang excited for. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, maybe more of a niche market, but going into the Predator universe, they are going animated, and really interested to kind of hear your thoughts on this one. So we're going to take a look at Predator Killer of Killers, coming out on Hulu this summer. It's a anthology series, and I thought the first trailer was better. I wish I had that queued up, but this is their second trailer. So let's give it a go. Interested to hear your thoughts on this, Lantern.
My son, tell me why we fight.
Because our enemy still lives.
You all have traveled far and missed the warmth of home. But tonight, think of only one thing. Killing the monster.
You're not hearing me. There's something else up in the sky. And it's not human.
I pray you bloody your spear tonight. You are ready now. There's only one way to kill it. We must fight together.
Here we go. What happens if we survive?
I am actually really excited for this. This is why we need to stop doing live actions, because animation you can just tell a much more coherent story. You know, like, I'm pumped for that. I'm not a big Predator fan, but the animation style for that looks really nice. Yeah, I'm generally really excited for that.
Lantern, you just totally made my day, because I was just like, I don't know how she's gonna feel about this one. I know you like your animation. Great first take. Love it. Agreed. I think this looks badass. I think the animation looks smooth. It looks gritty. And again, to your point about being able to tell a more cohesive story, pull off things in animation that you just can't do in live action. Really, really hyped for it. And to our points earlier about more of having anthology stories, definitely loving it.
For that.
And that and topped off anthology stories that even find a way to kind of tie in together. Best video that we ever did on Nerd North at the time was our Predator Prey one. Hated it. Got 1,000 views, over 1,000 views on that one in the first couple hours. But looks like they did a great job on this. So first question to you. Although different kind of thing, do you think, let's say like Disney Star Wars animation could learn something from an animated series like this? As far as
of course.
Gritty and darker.
It looked like it was aimed at a much older demographic than what Star Wars have done as well. I'm not sure if you've seen the series Arcane, which is on Netflix. It's based on the League of Legends game.
Arcane?
Yeah, Arcane.
I haven't.
Great. Season 1, Season 2, not so much, but the animation style looks quite similar. So I'm wondering if it's the same company that did that.
I will definitely check it out. I know you got some great taste in film, especially in animation. I'll give that a check out. I know, like you said, the demographics different for Disney, but I think they could also learn a little something from an animation style like this. I do think it actually, even if you take away the grittiness, I think the animation looks better than what we get in Clone Wars, Wars and such.
That was a very stylized series.
Yeah. This one, not to say it looks photorealistic, but it has a little more of a real feel to it.
Yeah.
Do you think this? Do you think this series is going to be more successful than the minus Predator 1 and 2, which are just classics? Do you think this is going to wind up being more successful than like the other 10 AVP, AVP Requiem, all of them?
It has potential to be more successful. Like Arcane, it's not a very well-known... Oh, I mean, the game's pretty well-known, but the story in Arcane doesn't really have that much to do with the game because it's your classic MMO RTS. But it appealed to a really big audience. I think this has the potential to do the same thing.
Awesome. Great point. I honestly think, like, for people who have to suffer through the AVPs and such, I think this will go a long way in restoring a lot of brand faith with them. So I guess that would go to my point about, do you think it's going to reinvigorate the franchise?
I have a feeling it could. I'm reinvigorized just by thinking about watching that.
Watch party coming up for some Predator killers, everybody. We're going to wind up having a pretty busy schedule if we get to do watch parties, but I definitely would be down for it. We got the Predator Badlands around the corner. I don't know if you've seen trailers for it. It's their next,
I haven't.
Do you think it? People are kind of saying, "Hey, it looks all right," except for like the CG Predator that they have in it. It was just
that's the only thing I've seen from it.
Do you think the series is going to help that movie do better numbers than it potentially could have?
I mean, it could, but that film's not animated, so who knows?
Fair enough. Although you kind of already answered this. Do you think we need more gritty animated features like this for existing franchises?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely an audience out there who will watch it, myself included.
There we go, folks. You heard it from Brass Lantern first. We got some new Predator fans based on some pretty good looking trailers there. And I agree. I think you could take a whole lot of franchises and if you just adult it up a little bit more, make it a little more gritty. Like we were talking before the show about the Street Fighter animated anime movies. I'd love to see a Street Fighter like this. From things,
that'd be nice.
Things I'm hearing about the new movie that's supposed to be coming out. I think Sony's producing it, and we're talking. I love my WWE. Would never poo-poo on it. I watch it every week, but they're talking about throwing a bunch of wrestlers in it. And that's starting to scare me just a little bit because Street Fighter is definitely due for a win. Success, flop, or just for a niche market?
I feel like it's just for a niche market, but word of mouth might spread it to the point where it's a success.
Yeah, kind of same boat where word of mouth could go a long way with it, but on the same token, that I think it's just it really is more for a niche market. You either love Predator or you hate it. You might have like people like yourself who is just like, not really into Predator. This looks cool. I'll give it a go, but I don't think it's gonna bring in enough people to really make a difference at the end of the day. And I guess it's more of a matter of just seeing how many real Predator fans are out there. Well, with that, we're getting to our last trailer of the day. I was really, really, really pumped for the first Superman trailer. Now we got the second Superman trailer. You hear my thoughts and Brass Lantern's thoughts after we play it. So with that, let's get to a little David Corn Sweat Superman trailer 2, and we'll see what everybody's thinking.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah.
You'd let me interview you as Superman.
Sure.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Recently, you've come under a lot of fire for what some
It's
might.
a lot of fire.
It's a lot. Today, the Secretary of Defense said he was going to look into your actions. That's funny.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
In effect, you illegally entered a country.
This is how you're gonna be?
I'm not the one being interviewed, Superman. Did you consult with the president?
No.
You seemingly acting as a representative of
I
the
wasn't
United States
representing
will cause
anybody
more
except for me.
problems around the world.
And doing good.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die. Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Your choices. Your actions. That's what makes you who you are.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. He's somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation. I will not accept that.
I cleaned your boots. I'll go get them for you.
You have a dog?
Still looks like a fun movie.
Fair enough. I love how you just jumped in right away. So digging the trailer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the costume they gave him. His underwear on the outside. Perfect.
Big fan of the Superman undies. I hope
Yep.
they continue the trend with the Batman and give him some Batman undies as well. I think franchises have been missing that for a while. Whenever I see the superhero franchises and they don't got the undies going, I feel like they're just wearing pajamas. So overall, you enjoyed the trailer?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Papa South. Go ahead. No, go.
It looks like it's going to be fun. That's one I probably will go see at the cinema.
Papa's House, still going to go see it. I'll be honest, compared to the first trailer. I don't know. There's just something about this one that I hated. I can't even put my finger on it. It just makes it, I don't know. I feel very small scale as far as what we're going to see in this. Not like as far as spectacle, but it feels like we're not going to see too many different set differences. It's like just going to be that city, Metropolis for like 2 city blocks. We're going to get that war. I'm not loving that war. It just like the lineup of tanks and that like 10 feet from each other.
It seems very unrealistic.
Yeah. I don't like how they started the trailer with like the interview with Lois. I think that it played out too long for the trailer. I think they could have shortened that up a bit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling as good as I did feel about it before. I still think it'll be a good popcorn movie. I'm gonna still go see it, and I'll spend my $40 for a ticket and some popcorn to go see it. Do you think this was better or worse than the first trailer?
No, I do agree with you. The first trailer had something else where it was. Oh, I don't know what was missing from this second trailer, but
A little bit of hope,
yeah.
a little more brightness, a little more feel good in the heart about it.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that's it.
Fair enough. One of the things I didn't like about this trailer in particular was Nicholas Holt. Like, I thought he would be a great Luther. I know we didn't see a whole ton of him. He felt more like a sniveling child to me than he did like a menace in this one. Are you in agreement on that?
Yeah, there wasn't enough of him in there to really be like, yes, this is the villain of our series or our film.
Didn't like the girl with the saw hands. So
who was playing one of the lanterns?
Oh,
that was very briefly in there.
Nathan Fillion is our lantern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's another thing, like Canadian boy. There's another thing I wasn't a fan of. When I think lantern, I think of the ring. It's shooting out its beam and then making whatever. This, he just kind of flips the hand, and then like 20 feet away, a hand shows out of the ground and flips the guy away. I think that's a really, really big miss. I'm not loving the leather outfits for him and Hot Girl. Like, I know his outfit does look very similar in the comics. Hot Girl not so much, and maybe they're trying to make a team thing where their uniforms are a little more. The uniforms are more uniform.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels like they're wearing like biker leathers that you could get in a bike shop.
Yeah.
So MCU super famous for misleading people in trailers by like when they took the Hulk out of the Infinity War one and stuff like that. Ultraman, who's the guy in the black suit fighting him in the football field, is supposed to turn into Bizarro Superman at some point in this film. Nobody really knows who this robot guy is that he's fighting.
Yep.
Do you think that could just be misleading? Because he has like the laser eyes, Do you think that could just be misleading effects for them not trying to reveal a Bizarro in this film?
Yeah, I feel like they're probably trying to keep as much under wraps as possible while still building hype for the movie.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. And I do think that is a mislead. I guess we'll see when we get to the theater to see that. How a lot of people have complained about how the effects look. How are you feeling about the effects?
Well, they didn't look terrible, but it's like it wasn't polished.
Yeah,
like it could have been a bit better, well-rounded.
And I guess they only July, right? So we're saying 10 minutes. We're saying goodbye to May, and well, yeah, you're already in June over there.
I'm already in June.
So we're a month and 11 days away. I guess they have some time to clean it up a little, not a whole lot of time, but I guess we'll see how that looks in the end.
Yeah.
Do you still think this is going to do really, really good numbers?
I have a feeling it might, depending on how much James Gunn comedy is actually in this film.
Yeah.
Because his comedy's good, but it's just so oversaturated when he did like Guardians of the Galaxy.
As long as we don't have like a cameo of Supergirl being silent, eating chips in the corner.
Yeah.
So we calling this a flop, or are we calling it breaking even, or we calling this...
I think it'll at least break even.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, I'm calling this. I think it's gonna actually. I think it's gonna do really, really. As much as like there's things I don't like, I think this is gonna do really, really well. I think.
Yeah.
I know James Gunn isn't everybody's cup of tea, but I think he's a little more family friendly than a lot of other directors could be, and I think this one's gonna do some bank at the end of the day. And I think overall this is gonna be a success. But like you said, this might just kind of like break even, but here's to hoping this is a new start for the DCU and we get something really exciting out of it. That said, we are through the trailer part of our little chat here, and let's move on to a little show we like to call Andor Season 2. I think we were looking at this chart last time. I was going to try to blow this up a little, and of course I can't blow it up a little. But Andor Season 2 numbers are huge, everybody. Huge. We've ranked fourth on the Nielsen charting, just under Black Mirror, Successful Show. The other two I'm not really familiar with. That list has been updated since I've gotten it. We've gone from 721 million views to 821 million views. So as the show went on, the numbers got bigger and bigger. Huge W for Disney on this one. If you compare it to shows like Daredevil Born Again, which they put a lot of faith into that show, and it didn't even chart on the Nielsen ratings. So giant size success for Andor Season 2. And for those like Lantern and myself who are pretty dang big Andor fans, I think both of us after season 1 we're like, this show is definitely worthwhile. People need to check it out. Now, I can be honest, based on our last chat, I was saying like, I don't really know, but it definitely picked up steam.
Much like season 1 picked up steam about halfway through, and then it really powered at home at the end.
Yeah, great point. Exactly like that. Exactly like season 1, where the first couple were a little bit of a sleeper, but they knocked it out of the park in the last one. So overall feelings, just on the last 6 episodes.
Loved it.
It was 12. So 6 through 9 or 9 through 12. Which one did you think were the stronger ones?
The last 3 were definitely the stronger ones, but they did have a lot more action packed into the last 3 episodes.
Agreed. They were still
the story started to move really quickly towards the end of the show, which is very much like what happened in season 1.
Yeah, agreed.
That's because they did a lot of heavy lifting throughout the beginning 6 episodes, where they're setting up all these little strings and plots and characters being in certain places to then for it to all come together at the end.
Yeah, 100% on that.
It's good writing, plain and simple.
Some of the best writing that I'll still stick by some of the best writing that we've seen in Star Wars since the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Definitely agree. Favorite moments? Any that stick out for you?
Oh, well, spoiler to people who haven't watched Andor, but Luthen's death.
Yep.
That was actually one of my favorite moments from the whole series.
The whole episode was just dynamite.
Yep.
Where he passed away, and it was Clea that was the one that had to do it.
That was really good acting on her behalf as well.
Fantastic, and just love how she had to make her way through the Empire Medical Facility, if that's what you want to call it, level by level and door by
It was
door.
very smart.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a great, like for all the times, say fandom complains about the strong women in like a movie where they just overdo it. That's a great way to write a strong female character without it, being in your face or seeming like they're trying to make some type of message out of it. Definitely one of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The battle in Gorman, that was good. Poor Cyril.
Poor Cyril. Yeah, poor Cyril. The irony of like how much time and effort he put in to chasing Andor, just for Andor to be like, who are you?
Who are you? Yeah.
Like, I don't even know who
He
you
was
are.
just trying to impress his woman and it did nothing for him.
That's probably one of my speaking of Deidre, one of my favorite moments was to see her locked up at the end in the very jail that she was putting people into. I'm glad that they didn't kill her off, and I thought there was a lot more impact with the irony of her being put away forever. I don't recall his name at the moment. The old man that ran the IBS. Is that what it was called? The Intelligence Bureau.
Oh yeah, he was in Game of Thrones. I can't remember what
still
his
haven't
character's
seen that
name
one.
was. Yeah,
but at the end, where they're like, "We got to take you in." He's like, "Give me a moment to gather my thoughts," and
good.
You just hear you see him put the blaster down. Then from outside the door, you hear
it,
and then his buddy on the other side before the troopers could go in, just kind of like, the leg on Papa South's face. I'm not gonna lie. The last episode where they're on Yavin, hats off to Mr. Benjamin Bratt. That was the first time he sold me on
sold you on Bail Organa.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, well done, Mr. I couldn't believe it. I was a little beside myself, but yeah, definitely thought he did a great job. We finally got to see the Mon Mothma haircut, and
yeah, her actress has done such a phenomenal job at portraying Mon Mothma as well.
100%. There couldn't have been anybody else better that they could have picked for that.
She just chews up the screen time, and I love it.
The escape, if you will, from the after her speech, thought was just fabulous. And although people got a chuckle out of it, like I thought it was a very real reaction when like Andor shoots the
Andor
driver.
shot her driver,
yeah. Fabulous. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a big fan of the Gorman massacre. I thought it was, me personally, I just felt it was a little rushed. I understand like there's screen time and you got to move the story along. I do like how he wound up getting K2S9.
Yeah.
The Imperial droid.
Yeah,
I thought that was really, really well done. And I thought, like, although he was only in it for a few short episodes, I thought he was a great addition to. I know I've seen some memes in that where people talk about the greatest hallway scenes that you've ever seen in Star Wars, and they're saying, "Well, there he is, holding on to the Imperial intelligence guy going down the hallway, knocking people out." Thought that was great.
It does line up really well with Rogue One as well, because I watched that straight after I finished the last episode of season 2.
I am so envious. It's something I never got to. Still one of my favorite Star Wars movies ever.
There are characters that I really would have liked to have seen in season 2 of Andor, but yeah, it works as a prequel to the movie.
Oh, 100%. We got a little Andor baby. Do you think he'll be showing up in future projects, or do you just kind of think that was just kind of like
I hope he doesn't show up in future projects, but knowing Disney with Star Wars, they probably will try and put him in somewhere.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's kind of like a one and done. Just for spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Rogue One, obviously Andor dies in that, and it just kind of gives the fans like a little hope to make little movies in their head that somewhere down the line that there's a Andor baby out there.
There's a little
the universe.
Andor Junior.
Yeah, although like if I was able to wave my magic wand and had the money to make my own Star Wars movies, I would love to see a grown-up version of that Andor Jr., where he despises his father for the decisions he made and like maybe become like a bounty hunter or something like that, chasing down rebels.
Yeah.
I think that could be some...
that'd be a nice twist in the story.
Some nice duality for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So... I guess do you think after this has to be called a success for sure, 821 million views? Do you think
that's huge?
Massive. Those massive numbers, even for the haters, they have to admit, like, you can't deny those numbers, and they are huge. Do you think Disney learns anything from this, or do you think they just kind of treat it as a one and done and go back to their old ways?
I'd like for Disney to learn something from this, but I doubt that they will. Because if you look at the viewing numbers for, what was it, Mandalorian?
Yep.
That was high. Even for the seasons that weren't good. I think season 3 was awful.
Do you think those numbers were high in the latter seasons because there was hope that it was going to get better?
Yeah. Or hope that you get to see more little Grogu, Baby Yoda.
Which we're sure to be getting more of that than the Mando and Grogu movie, but Grogu. Mm-hmm. I am hearing though, like if it's like not a success, that like Mando's done altogether, and I don't know how much faith people have left in Pedro Pascal to really make that movie float. And just like everything else, there's always, Grogu, as cute and adorable as he is, he's a niche thing. There's always the new thing. Mm-hmm. And I guess we'll see. So with numbers like this, do you feel in retrospect Star Wars has done less brand damage than the MCU, where it looks like every movie with the MCU, every TV series, the numbers get lower and lower and lower, where Andor has managed to get, even if they're not like hardcore Star Wars fans, managed to get new viewers in? Or do you think this is just a phenomenon for the show and they haven't done any less or any more damage than the MCU?
I think it's a phenomenon. It hasn't done anything to get new fans in, but the older fans really enjoyed Andor. I mean, there are people who didn't like it because they said it was slow, boring, what have you, but it tells a very mature themed story. And I think that's what a lot of people liked about it. Myself definitely included in that.
I agree. Like, I know a lot of people are, it's not Star Wars, no Jedis, no Sith, no Darth Vader, whatever. But
they're there in the background. They just don't have to be the main focus of whatever you're watching.
I'm on board with you on that. Where it's like you said it best. They're in the background. There are almost like an anthology feeling, right? There's the many stories of the Star Wars universe, and this just happens to be one of those stories that there are things going in the background of the world of the Jedi and stuff that they're not necessarily, I won't say privy to, but like, they have other things going on. And I think,
they mention the Emperor, they mention Vader. You don't have to show them for people to understand that, this is just part of the whole story that's going on.
100%. Were you satisfied with Luthen's backstory?
It wasn't a highlight for me, but I wasn't disappointed with it.
Fair enough.
It makes sense for his character.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. It did make sense. Um, I think Clea helped that part of the story big time.
Definitely.
Um, I just, I guess, kind of like, well, I guess it's almost like,
It reminded me of Finn in The Force Awakens.
yeah, great point. I was just going to say maybe even a Solo in a Solo story, where it's just like, I can't do this. I need, there's just something not right. But I think you nailed it with Finn a little bit more, where it doesn't feel right in the heart, and that's kind of like what gives him the turn. I think told way better than Finn. Like that they blew up a bridge
definitely.
on Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
And also back to Clea, like how fast that she wound up having to grow up because of
Well,
it.
much like all the other characters we saw when they were younger, they all had to grow up really quickly.
And the fact that she watched the firing line, and obviously they can't show it on TV because there are actually like rules about it in the filming guild. But like the fact that she had to sit and watch youngling, so to speak, get taken out by a firing squad, really hit it home for me. I was just like, that is pretty intense.
Well, you got to see what radicalized all these people.
Exactly. I like the way you think, Lantern. I like the way you think. Mon Mothma's speech to the council. The floor is
I feel
yours.
like it was lacking.
Fair
it could
enough.
have been more. But it was well delivered by the actress. The speech itself just could have been a bit more.
I'm really, really glad you said that, because I know how much you love Mon Mothma, and it would have been easier just to throw an answer out there like, oh, it was great, it was perfect. I felt like that speech was really, really lacking, that they weren't on the ball with whoever wrote it.
Because I think back to the prequels and some of the speeches that Padme gives in the Senate, and they were good. And I was expecting something similar to that.
I think that's what I was expecting as well. I think right off the bat, I can't even remember if there was any type of music playing while it was happening.
No, I don't think there was.
I think that could have gone a long way to have some strong kind of symphony with that. To really push that message home. Wasn't a fan of Benjamin Bratt saying we need to burn the shit out of this.
Yeah, that was a bit unnecessary.
Doesn't seem like a very
it's not a very Star Wars-esque line.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But still pretty damn happy with it. We already touched on Cyril, poor old Cyril.
Poor Cyril. He just wanted to get the girl and impress his mom.
And poor mom, like,
yeah,
I could, the regrets of a parent not being supportive enough of their child or whatever, and then to have it like, realize that they're never going to see them again, and like maybe right off the bat she doesn't know that, but eventually, definitely some sad stuff. Did you think this was better than season 1 or equal to season 1? How did you feel about that?
I'd say it was equal to season 1, but season 1 did have a little bit more. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? I know it just drew you in a little bit better than what season 2 has.
Yeah,
like for example, those prison episodes, they stick in my mind all the time. They were fantastic. I love Andy Serkis in anything, and he was great in season 1. He would have been a nice character to see in season 2, but I don't think he's alive.
Yeah, he's still he's still swimming out there somewhere.
Oh well, he can't swim. I think he may have drowned.
Fantastic actor, horrible Alfred, but we'll maybe mention that in the Batman 2 later. Yeah, I'd put it fair or equal to season 1. They both felt very much the same to me, where, like we said earlier, a little bit of a slow burn, and then both of them, their endings, the last few episodes, both kind of picked up in their own kind of special way. But maybe a little bit of a tip to the hat to season 1, just having that little bit more pop. Do you think we're going to see Tony Gilroy in any future projects, or do you think after this they're done?
Well, I hope they give him something else, but I don't think Disney will. Unless they have something in the pipeline where it's really his style.
Yeah. I honestly, I would like to see them give him a shot at something that does involve
like a film. That'd be nice.
The film, like something that does involve Jedi and Sith. I think he could. I think he could do a bang up job on both writing and directing, something like that. I would hope Disney keeps him around. I haven't checked out to see what his slate is going forward. And also, I think it also depends on how long Kathleen Kennedy winds up sticking around. I know she put a lot of faith and money into this show, and maybe if she sticks around, she'll find a way to keep him there. But
it's the best thing she's ever done for Disney Star Wars.
Agreed. And she wanted to go out with a win, so
this is it.
This is it. If she wants to go out, now's her time. As George Costanza would say, let's go out on a high note there. Speaking of things that may or may not go out on a high note, we are talking a little Fantastic Four reshoots. Oh boy, let's see if I can get rid of that ad. And there we go. Fantastic Four, first steps undergoing reshoots nearly 2 months before release. Alarming sign of trouble for a film that was supposed to save the MCU. Don't even need to get into the whole article on that face right there. Mr. Pedro Pascal should tell you enough.
They put a lot of stock in Pedro Pascal saving this whole universe, which is, it's sad really if you think about it, because banking on an actor like Robert Downey Jr. wasn't as risky as someone like Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I'm on board with you with that. I think they put too much into him being the Mandalorian, and the Mandalorian kind of saving Star Wars for a little while anyways. And let's be honest, like, he called in most of his episodes. If you really want to give some credit to the Mandoverse, I know we're talking Fantastic Four, but
the stunt actors.
Yeah, John Wayne, the cowboy actor, it's his son who's in the suit of the Mandalorian. And you can like, you know, if you start watching some old John Wayne movies, like I've seen a ton of them, you can see it in the body language. And like you said, stunt actors and all that really what made that really is what made that show. So recently there was a test screening in the last week for Fantastic Four, where Kevin Feige was in attendance, and apparently a lot of the crowds, I don't know, scream's the right word, were crying out, "This is mid."
As they should.
Yeah. How do you think that's going to help the film track at all? Do you think there's enough time to actually make any real significant changes to the point where it won't be mid?
When's its release date? I don't actually remember off the top of my head.
I could be wrong. It would be great if it was July 4th, but it's not too long from now.
Okay.
It's within the next couple months. Do you think there's really...
So that's a tight schedule for fitting reshoots in there and redoing all your editing and then releasing it. That's so tight for a release.
Yeah.
It's very late in the production phase to be doing reshoots as well.
So then I guess my next question is, and I think you already just kind of touched on it, Do you think the reshoots at this point are just special effects reshoots, or do you think they're actually trying to make any type of significant change?
Well, based off of how Multiverse of Madness went, they're doing significant changes. And it's not for the better.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to get Galactus a brighter purple suit.
Oh, let's hope.
I don't think. Yeah, do you know? I do think that they're gonna try to squeeze in some significant change before it's all done, but just kind of like what's the one I was thinking? Brave New World, where they tried to make significant changes before its release date. It might.
I still haven't watched that.
It's free on Disney Plus. I haven't
Yeah,
watched
I know.
it yet. I might try braving it this weekend, but from a lot of people that did see it, they said you could tell there was a lot of changes. It seemed very, very choppy, and I guess that would be
in line with what they've been bringing out, I guess.
Yeah, hey, ain't that the truth? If the Fantastic Four bombs, do you think that's going to change the trajectory for how Doomsday plays out, and they'll make significant changes to that story based on the success of the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, that's probably why they haven't finished the script for Doomsday yet.
Great point. Which I still think is one of the biggest mistakes. I definitely think, based on how this movie plays out and how fans react to it, if it does bomb altogether, the whole multiverse thing in Doomsday, they could very well possibly try to start casting a new Fantastic Four before that's done.
Yeah, I'm just not sold on Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. I don't know why they've done that.
Me neither. We'll definitely be getting to that. I've also been hearing from test screenings, this is just Rise of the Silver Surfer with better effects and a female Silver Surfer, which
that sounds very Marvel.
Yeah, I don't know if that really bodes well for the movie at all. Do you think now that we've had like a Thunderbolts flop, aka New Avengers, and obviously they're going to be a big part of Doomsday, and same with Anthony Mackie's new team of Avengers, do you think the Fantastic Four are going to be enough to prop up those two teams where people are going to be interested in either or of them?
No, I don't think so. For example, like the original Avengers movie, you didn't have to watch every single other movie that came out before that to get what these characters are about.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should have to do that anymore with, they're doing a reboot.
Yeah.
If you can't get people interested in the first film you're bringing out, then bringing out another one after that's not going to help.
Me personally, I don't think this Fantastic Four team is enough to make people care about characters that are second tier characters. I don't think no matter, like, I'm not going to sit through a whole Avengers movie with a bunch of characters I don't care about just because we got Pedro Pascal and company in there. Okay, so we know Feige's responsible for Fantastic Four. If the Fantastic Four bombs, and we, it's not like they're going to pull them off of Doomsday, so they're going to give them Doomsday. But do you think Fantastic Four will be the nail in the coffin for Kevin Feige if it bombs, regardless of how Doomsday does?
I don't think it'll be the nail in the coffin for him because he'll still get given productions to do.
Do you think he'd
I think he might just move over to Star Wars and start working there.
Oh boy.
Just focusing on there.
Well, at least it'd be a change. Honestly, I think if this flops, like I said, he'll still finish Doomsday, but I think the writing's on the wall for him. And I think you might be right. He might just do the smart thing and say, it's time for me to step aside, let someone else take the reins. But I think if Fantastic Four does flop, I think they're just going to say, hey, finish up with Doomsday. We'll deal with a reboot after that and have a nice day. And I think his time is coming to an end there. But that's just Papa says on that.
They'd probably just give the responsibility back to the Russo brothers, right?
Very, very true. I'll be honest, I don't know much of anything else that the Russo brothers have done, but they do seem to have had really good success dealing with the Avengers, and maybe, like you said, Kevin Feige to just stick on like as executive producer or something like that. Where's your hype for this movie?
Oh, not really hyped at all.
Is it Pedro Pascal?
It's Pedro Pascal. I'm just sick of seeing him in everything.
I agree. I know you read a lot of, or at least have read a lot of Fantastic Four comics. I think there's a lot more you can do in the comics with the Fantastic Four than you can in a movie. I know they're talking about introducing a Council of Reeds, which will probably be the original Mr. Fantastic, Krasinski, and the guy.
I liked Krasinski.
You're a Krasinski guy?
That was one of the best parts of Multiverse of Madness.
Fair enough. Yeah.
He looks the part. He's not annoying like Pedro Pascal.
He's not as annoying as Pedro Pascal. I just find him too funny, haha. But there's a lot more fans of him out there than there are people like me who are Krasinski people. I'd still like to see a Gordon Joseph Lovett, but
yeah,
that
was a good fan casting
for sure. But I'm not Kevin Feige. So we got a post-credits scene spoiler. So apparently at the end of the Fantastic Four, Sue Storm is going to enter a room where there's going to be Robert Downey Jr. holding on to his Doctor Doom mask, holding on to Franklin. I think I'm on board with you. I'm not a big fan of RDJ as Doctor Doom.
I would have loved to see Mads Mikkelsen play Doctor Doom.
Mads Mikkelsen would have been an awesome Doctor Doom. And even though he was the one baddie in the first Doctor Doom, it is the multiverse. He would have been.
Well, if Robert Downey Jr., aka Iron Man, can play Doctor Doom,
100%. That's what I'm saying, right? That it's a multiverse. We definitely he would have been the way better Doctor Doom. Yeah, I think that's what we got for the Fantastic Four. There was a question in there somewhere, but right about now, that's kind of escaping Papa Sosa brain. And since we're already a little bit on the topic of Doomsday, we have this wasn't the original article this was the original article I was going to use the other week, but I'm going to hold off on this for a second, and then just going to ask you some general questions before I get to that article. So big Doomsday Delays, 7 months, I believe it is. According to Josh from Den and Nerd, another great channel for everybody to check out, they're saying although it's been delayed, they are still full steam ahead. Delays. Do you think this is because the story isn't complete? Do you think this is because they're trying to add even more cameos than they have? Do you think this is just because they are going to need quite some time to work on effects? What are your thoughts on
all of the above?
Fair enough.
They're just trying to cram as much stuff into this film as possible, and they still don't have the script done.
Do you think it's going to be a detriment to the story of this film?
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
I don't have high hopes for Doomsday.
Myself,
there's way too many actors being put up in this film as well. that they're only going to have 15, 20 seconds at maximum of screen time, and it's going to mean nothing in the grand scheme of things.
In one giant porthole at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a collapsing porthole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, 100% agree with you on that one, Lantern. I think we'll call it 2 to 3 months of that 7-month delay is going to be just like filming cameos and trying to figure out where they can squeeze it in. I don't know how much of that's like effects work, right? Obviously, there is rendering time in that, but it's not like they're making an Avatar movie where the whole movie's just one big CG mess. I do think a lot of it has to do with there is no complete script.
They're also probably waiting to see how the Fantastic Four goes when it comes out.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And again, like we were just discussing, depending on like the success of that, could definitely change how they're going to make that work. But I do think a lot of that has to do with cameos and such. So now I'm going to pull up this article. Not trying to pull politics into anything, but let's talk about everybody's favorite president for a second. Avengers Doomsday may pause production until President Trump's Hollywood tariffs details are announced. Sure. Did that even pull up there? There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so just real quickly in the world of politics, not that we're a political show, just to kind of give everybody an idea. The other day, the Trade Federation of the USA said, hey, you can't do these tariffs on everybody. So as of right now, they are paused. The Trump administration went to an appeals court. The appeals court said, hey, we're going to go through the appeals process. So for now, tariffs are still on. Now, I believe, if I remember, it was like 100% tariffs on any type of film that is not being shot.
Massive.
Yeah, huge. Like they're saying, like it's $2 billion for this Doomsday to break even. So
they slap some tariffs on top of that. That's going to be massive budget.
That's nearly $500 billion.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. How much of do you think this the effects of the tariffs are gonna just try to word the question? Do you think, like, as it stands right now, for what they got shot of this movie, that they're going to try to move the production stateside away from England? Or do you think they're already just going to say, our feet are already in the pool, we're just going to finish it out here? How much do you think these tariffs are affecting the delay of the film?
Probably a lot. I reckon the financially smart thing to do would be to move it back state-wise. But as you were saying, they've probably got, all their sets there. They've already filmed most of the stuff that they would need there, so they would just continue on doing it. And they're like, oh shit, we'll just pay the extra.
The extra money.
Yeah.
Well, shareholders shit their pants and go, what can you get us into? I think if you want take that 7-month block of like the delays, probably I would think maybe that first month of delay that, let's say, has already passed or is passing as we speak, I think a lot of it is tariff discussions, how to mitigate and deal with President Trump. What can they do to scratch his back to maybe lower that cost a little bit? Because like half it, it's actually a question for later, but like I said, now, like, I'm sitting in my head, like, that's almost $500 billion, like that. Even
how much can they mitigate the damages, I think, is what they're really trying to evaluate.
And that is definitely a huge one. I wouldn't be surprised right now if Disney's like already like start building studios in the States.
It'll cost us less.
It'll cost, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you think part of this delay is that this film is just, and you already kind of touched on it a bit, do you think this film is just too big overall, just way too big for it to even avoid major delays?
Yeah, they've crammed so many actors into this. As we were talking about last time, they still hadn't finished the script, which I feel like is a huge red flag for delays.
Big time. Yeah, just there's just way too much going on in this movie. And it's not even just like yes, you're 100% right, like you got all these actors in that, but it's still trying to, like, you got the Avengers, you got the X-Men,
the Fantastic Four. You've
Four,
got
like
three groups at least.
A Doomsday plot or Doctor Doom plot in there as well. Like,
Franklin Richards. It's a lot to put into one film.
Yeah. You're wise beyond your years, Lantern. Yeah, no, a great take. It is. It's way too much. Do you think this film's even, like, I think it's supposed to be next summer. We'll call it next summer. Do you think they're going to even be able to hit that target date, or do you think they're going to wind up pushing it back even further?
They'd probably want to get it out by next summer, because that's when people they're on their holidays, or they're going out with their families to go see these kind of films.
Yeah. And do you think...
I don't think they'll make that deadline based off of what we've spoken about. Okay,
so that said, do you think it could be pushed back even further to like Christmas? Because like that would be your next big window when people are together.
That would be the next financially viable window to push it back to after summer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like a Christmas release, and then of course, if you do that, now you're talking Secret Wars. Now would be the following summer, and Spider-Man: New Day. That said, that might give Tom Holland some time to actually grow some stubble or something, and so, as I said earlier, they're saying it's going to need to make $2 billion just to break even. Like a lot of the scoopers and all that didn't consider the tariffs, and now we're talking, we'll call it $4 billion if it's 100%, right? So again,
that's so much money.
Yeah.
Because if you think about how much money Endgame made, that was not even close to the amount we're talking about here.
No, yeah, 100%. So at the end of the day, is this movie even profitable?
Exactly. I don't think it will be.
I don't think at all. Like,
it's almost impossible for it to be profitable at this point.
Yeah, they went too big, and like I don't even think there's enough toys in the world or video
merch
games. Merch. Sorry, that's what I'm looking for. I don't think there's enough merch in the world. And then you're still talking about splitting costs or profits with theaters, vendors,
advertising.
Yeah. I say no.
It's an obscene amount of money.
Yeah. We're talking like James Spader B film obscene amount of money. Yeah. That's only going to be funny to a couple of people I know, but still. I can't see any way that this is going to... I could see them losing $1 billion on this, and that's a huge loss. And maybe like a Fantastic Four isn't the nail in Kevin Feige's coffin.
It certainly will be.
Exactly. Kind of like already touched base on is there enough time to find the balance between like, the OG Avengers, which will be in there, the OG bad guy Avengers that apparently are rumored to be in there, New Avengers and X-Men. I think the movie's supposed to be a runtime of like even at 2 hours. They say 2 hours 26 minutes, but let's call it what it is. That 26 minutes is credits rolling at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there? I think we both.
I think
agree.
it's going to be a longer film than that, just to fit in all of this stuff.
It would have to be, and then once you do that, then we're talking again about increasing the budget because now they're saying, "Hey, we got to make this movie longer." I don't see there's any way to fit enough balance to throw all these teams in there, but yeah. I know you already said your hype isn't too big for this, but I will ask again. Hype?
Yeah, not too big. It just sounds like it's going to be so busy with characters that you're not going to get much story. It's all of the, oh, look, here's Hugh Jackman as Wolverine for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah, on board with you for that. My hype for the MCU is dwindled over the years, and to your point, I don't like the RDJ casting as Doctor Doom. Would have went with, like you said, Mads Mikkelsen. I could have took a lot of people over that, but I'm sure the diehards are all still going to line up to go and see this. But I think they're all hoping for some type of big spectacle. I think they're going to lose a lot of people too, knowing that you're going to have Secret Wars and then kind of like a reboot around the corner after that. And again, with like big ticket characters like Daredevil having a flop of a show in that, I do think the interest is dwindling. So at the end of the day, box office success or box office flop?
Hands down a flop. They have to make an obscene amount of money to even do a profit on this, or even to break even.
Yep, gonna agree on that. Yeah, I think this is just going to be a disastrous flop.
Massive failure.
I don't think they even come close to breaking even. Like I said, with almost $4 billion at stake, $500 billion, $2 billion at stake is a mountain to climb over. I don't think there's any.
It'd have to be the best-selling film of human history to make that amount of money.
That's it, right? Like, even like when they re-release like Revenge of the Sith and all that in the theaters and all that, they're still not even coming anywhere close to that amount of money. Yeah, I think Doomsday is dead on arrival, and better luck next time with whatever your future brings MCU, because maybe the best thing you can do is get to the reboot right away. But there's ways to change the MCU to change their future, and ways for them to change things. And speaking of which, Marvel is about to make some big changes to the way that they do their streaming content on Disney Plus. Marvel Studios expected to make a big change to streaming content after Vision. Pretty much, I could go through this article all day. Pretty much what this is coming down to is not even if you want to consider him a big character, they are saying after the Vision series that they're going to be done with putting major characters on the Disney Plus MCU shows. They're just going to go with more minor characters, more minor stories that don't have a whole lot to do with the overall arcing stories that they do have in the MCU. And I don't know if that's the best strategy going forward. They're already hurting as it is.
I don't think it's a bad idea because there's always these niche characters that, diehard fans just want to see more of. Which, you don't get enough of them in the films or in the general MCU storylines.
Do you think there's enough of those niche fans of those niche characters?
Oh no, definitely not.
For it to be worthwhile to let's call it a cool 100 million per show, right? I think Obi-Wan was like, I know it's Star Wars, but we'll call that was like 97 million, and you have higher end shows that can Andor that can cost like 700 million. But do you think again? So do you think there's enough people to care about those characters to really make it worthwhile for Disney Plus?
No, probably not.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. Like, I don't know how many people want to see a Wonder Man show. And if I can't even think a character, they could still do well with their special presentations. I know we have a Nova special presentation and a Punisher special presentation slated over the next couple of years. But again, like, if these shows are just like characters or like, I don't know. Like,
see, if they're done well, like Punisher was fantastic.
Punisher was fantastic, but fan base for Punisher, huge.
It's pretty yeah.
And
pretty big.
And John Bernthal definitely bought the MCU.
Nailed the character.
A lot of good faith with the series in Netflix. Where
if we're going about casting X-Men, I'd love to see him as Wolverine.
Bernthal?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't be bad. You could still do it because of multiverse. Now he'd have to beef up again, honestly, just because of the short and stocky. I would have liked to see Batista as
yeah, Batista wouldn't have been bad.
Just because he has the size and the but
yeah.
Do you think at this point with like the numbers just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse? And again, I'll go back to Daredevil, just kind of like that's a huge character, and that show absolutely bombed. Do you think people have checked out altogether on the MCU streaming? How much do you think this is like toxic fandom?
Well, there's no such thing as toxic fandom.
No.
There's just people who criticize stuff that they don't like, I love Scarlet Witch as a character. I hated WandaVision. There were episodes of that I did like, but the whole as a show absolutely sucked.
Agreed. Hate it with passion. I don't even think we have to get into She-Hulk. And yeah, I know you do love Wanda Maximoff, but you're right. Like, that show, that was like one of those shows where someone was smoking a joint. It was like, do you know what would be a really, really good idea? And it's like, no, that wasn't a good idea. But, and again, with shows like She-Hulk, just lack of creative writing.
They just came out at a good time in the Marvel universe. Like what I was saying about Captain Marvel, for example, it was slotted into the perfect point in the timeline where, that did make $1 billion. I think it was a lot of money that made.
Yeah. Made some pretty big bank. I think you're right. It was about $1 billion that one made.
Whereas as soon as Endgame came out, that was it. That was when they should have put it on the shelf for a while.
I know Loki did some all right numbers, but even season 2 dropped off a little bit. Tom Hiddleston, obviously a great actor. And it was a fun show. I think that was probably
Loki had a good premise behind it. It had potential to be really good.
And it had Owen Wilson, so.
Yeah.
Whoa. big fan of the Owen Wilson, but yeah, had a good premise and all that. Probably like the only shining star amongst all the MCU shows. I think they even canceled the Armor Wars and that, and who knows? Maybe Ironheart will be the nail in the coffin for the MCU streaming. I don't even know if they're capable. Like, again, I'm just going to touch base on Daredevil. Do you think? I guess it's not fair to say. Do you think they're even capable of making a good streaming show? Obviously, they've done some decent movies and such. Do you think they really have the resources left to make any of these shows with minor characters like Echo and such a success at all?
No, it's highly unlikely. I don't think they have the passion behind the universes like they used to.
Yeah, and it's not fresh and shiny and new anymore. I think people want have some pretty high and rightfully so. People have high expectations of their shows, what they feel should be quality, and if it's not there, they're not going to.
Because I think they're doing a from that episode of What If with the zombies, they're doing like a Marvel Zombies animated series, and I think that could be good. Again, like animated series, they're the way of the future.
Not going to disagree with you there, Lantern.
Cost effective, and you can tell whatever story you want. You don't have to worry about actors.
But do you think people are over the zombie thing at this point? Do you think it's been overplayed?
Yeah, it's been overplayed, but we haven't seen it in the Marvel universe before. I think that's what they're banking on.
Yep. And if you go into it knowing it doesn't really connect to anything and just going to enjoy it for what it is, probably be some of the better viewing that we have had. So do you think doing minor characters in these shows is going to hurt, say, Punisher or Nova? It won't make a difference to them at the end of the day, and people will just watch those because they love those characters.
Yeah, people will just watch them because they like those characters.
Yeah, I agree. Right? You know, like if you're gonna put a big money character on for a special presentation, I think people are still gonna watch it. Do you think at this point it's a bit of a toss-up, right? Do you think I'll have a follow-up question after this question in the same question. Do you think Disney should just pull the Marvel content? Disney Plus should pull the Marvel content on Disney Plus altogether, just leave things to theatrical runs? Do you think pulling the MCU shows from Disney at the end of the day, although they get a lot of subscribers from it, do you think it would be more cost effective in the long run pulling them all together and just leaving things for the theater and then, you know, streaming them on Disney Plus after they've had the theatrical run?
I see that working for films, but not for a TV series. Like, people don't want to go see a TV series at the cinema, for example.
100%, right? But do you think if that was the case, do you think there's enough people that care about these people to even bother spending the money, the budget, and the time on making these shows anymore, or should they just focus on the theater?
I think theater's probably a wise decision to focus on. But then again, it does cost more money than what making a small series for Disney Plus does.
This is true.
Especially with how much Doomsday is going to cost. I don't think they'll be making any huge movies like that afterwards.
Probably not for a very, very long time, hopefully. Fair enough. And top enough, like, we don't know how long theaters are going to be viable for. I still reckon they'll be around for quite some time, but they will have their day eventually where just people aren't going because it's just not cost effective, and maybe they'll have to just move all the theatrical cuts just to TV eventually, and then see how that goes.
Yeah,
but
they'll probably start charging people for individual movies on release. instead of just putting them out for free with your subscription.
Yeah, there's I think Prime does that quite a bit now.
Yeah,
where
it does.
It's like it's the add-on. I'm also hearing about streaming stations, Netflix, Prime, Hulu's, and all that. Thinking about getting together and bundling for just like one giant package. Maybe that is the way of the future. Because from what I'm hearing, like the streaming channels aren't quite as profitable as what they could be.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of things that aren't quite profitable, Thunderbolts falls below initial opening weekend box office projections, becomes Marvel's lowest summer kickoff ever. Definitely, they had high hopes for it. At this point, it has been called a flop by the movie standards, so to speak.
It's the Avengers from Temu.
I love it. It definitely is the Avengers from Temu.
It's that meme where it's like, Mom, can we get the Avengers? Oh no, we have the Avengers at home.
Yeah, I love it.
And the Avengers at home are the Thunderbolts.
That's hilarious. Is hilarious. Was this a movie that the MCU even really bothered needing to make?
I still haven't seen it, even though it's free on Disney Plus right now.
Oh, is it free on Disney Plus right now?
I think I put it in my watch list. Maybe not.
I'll have to see. Again, so it's a bunch of second tier characters. Do you think this is a movie they needed to put out, or they could have pushed forward with things, let's say like Shang-Chi Part 2 or something like that, and not try to get a group together type movie? I guess my question is, do you think they should even bother putting it out?
No, I don't think so. Most of the characters aren't well known enough for even deserving their own movie.
Yeah.
It's not out on Disney Plus yet either.
Fair enough. Probably. Maybe it was, and they pulled it. They said nobody's watching the damn thing anyways. I think they probably could have done even better with just having a Sentry movie instead of trying to base the Thunderbolts around them. So part of the marketing campaign was, let's say, 2 weeks into the film. It was the Thunderbolts with an asterisk, and then they had like a bunch of the actors going around, and not just actors, the companies in general, going around taking down the posters and putting up the ones that said the new Avengers instead of the Thunderbolts. Do you think they should have just led with the movie being called the new Avengers? Do you think that would have helped them right off the get-go, or do you think they should have just left it at the Thunderbolts?
Probably should have just left it at the Thunderbolts. It seemed like they were doing whatever they could to try and gain some hype for this film.
Yeah, I'm bored with you with that. I think maybe if they would have marketed it more like the Suicide Squad, and not try to hype it up to be, something that it wasn't, that it would have been a lot more successful. I don't think doing the marketing change 2 weeks into the movie really did it any good. I think anybody that would have cared to see it would have seen it at that point. And like I said, just changing posters, marketing, everything else was just not money well spent.
Like the type of promoting Tom Cruise was doing for the new Mission Impossible film, that would have been a good idea.
Standing on top of that building or whatever it was that he was doing, and Tom Cruise makes everything better. Let's just be
Just being a humble guy, you know,
Yeah,
giving good press reviews, talking to the media properly, not
jumping off.
bringing any.
Yeah, jumping off of sofas with Oprah. Yeah, Tom Cruise makes that happen. So they made they made $300 million on this movie, fell 120 million short of making its budget, which now we got like what, 3 flops in a row. The Marvels, Brave New World, Thunderbolts. What is Marvel not doing right that they're suffering from so many flops right now? Is this writing? Is this marketing? Is this
I think it's superhero fatigue.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I can't disagree with you there. Everything used to be shiny and new, up to the point of Infinity War and Endgame, and maybe they should have just took a break after that, recalibrated, and thought their way through it. Like I said, you're super, super bright, and yet you make a great point with that. I was going to ask, do you think it was partially toxic fandom because these movies do seem to have some sort of uptick once they come to streaming? But I think that being said, when something comes on streaming and it's free, it's easier to digest, because you're like, I'm not spending my hard-earned cash on this. I already paid my my $10 for the month.
You can just turn it off and watch something else as well. Rather, as being in the cinema, you're like, do I just get up and walk away?
And that's,
I spent all this money, I may as well just stick it out until the end.
That's a tough one to yeah, you're right. A tough one to swallow. Like you've worked, a good few weeks to make sure you could afford your ticket and your popcorn and all that. Night at the Roxbury is the only movie I ever walked out on, or it's just like, this thing's just too dumb for me to appreciate. But yeah, you're right. You can always turn it off, come back to it later. You're more comfortable at home. You can do whatever with that. I do think they also suffer a lot from lack of creative writing, lack of creative storytelling. It's another movie, although I haven't seen it, my gist is it's like 90% of that movie is in that little room together, stuck with the Sentry, and then maybe 3 city blocks outside of that. And would you also say it's fair to say that this movie suffers from, again, like, you have this big event happening in New York and there's not another superhero around?
Yeah, it's bizarre. There are a lot of superheroes that seem to live in New York City, but when shit goes down, they're nowhere to be seen.
That's it. Yeah. That seems to be a huge crux in a lot of their movies, right? Like, where's my Spider-Man? Where's my Daredevil? Where's my Punisher? Where's Ms. Marvel or somebody who can snap their finger and just take everybody out like that?
Captain Marvel, where's anybody?
Sorry,
Doctor Strange.
That's it. You can just make one of those big circles, or
Wong. Where's Wong?
Oh yeah, he's busy with that girl that he met in Multiverse of Madness. There, I think they're getting married. Where's American Chavez? Right, even there.
Yeah, right. What about Echo? Where's she at?
It's Trump's fault. They called ICE and deported poor old American Chavez, and Echo couldn't hear anything going on, so she was just
yeah, she missed the call.
She missed the call. That's hilarious. So yeah, like this, I know they had a lot of hype going into this. They thought maybe after the first opening weekend that there would be some success with this. Obviously, it didn't turn into anything all too great at the end of the day. But that said, so with all the high expectations they had, and with, let's say, like the opening weekend, I have to admit, did pretty good, but then it kind of fell off. But what is a bit of a worry now is the director of the Thunderbolts could lead Marvel's new X-Men reboot.
They've rebooted X-Men so many times.
That they totally have. The only reason I'm going to support the X-Men reboot on this, again, like Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, great actors. They're nearly 100. I think it's time to.
I really liked Michael Fassbender as Magneto, actually.
You know what? Yeah, Fassbender. And I can't even remember his name right now. But the guy who wound up playing Xavier.
Oh, James McAvoy, I think that's his name.
I thought he was pretty decent as well. I do think it's time to replace some of these actors as they're getting a little long in the tooth. Even Mr. Hugh Jackman, who's apparently sticking around for a while yet. I think it really is time for a group of fresh faces. But that said, do you think that maybe they should reconsider using the director of Thunderbolts to be doing the X-Men?
Oh, definitely, especially with how badly that movie's performed.
Now, I'm going to agree with you, considering like if he was involved in the writing of the Thunderbolts, which I'm not sure he was, but if he was involved in the screenplay, then guys, look somewhere else. Tony Gilroy. He actually wouldn't probably be a bad choice for the X-Men, because it could probably be something that used a little more mature writing. If he had nothing to do with the screenplay, though, just based on what I've seen from the trailers, I guess it looked all right. But you are probably right. Like, hey, you know what? This thing has flopped so hard that maybe they shouldn't have put so much stake into him right away, and hopefully might reconsider.
If they want to stick with someone who's already done, Marvel movies, they could definitely hand that to Joss Whedon. I think he might not do a bad job of X-Men.
Yeah, do you know what? He could do all right. As far as I know, his slate's been pretty clear since Justice League, so I don't see him having a whole lot going on. And like, I know there was a lot of anger, hate with him going on at the time, but that was kind of a different era. We're in the middle of Me Too and all that, and
separate the art from the artist.
Yep, 100%. Otherwise nobody would be watching me, right? So I'd give Sweden a shot at it for sure. I think with a disappointment like the Thunderbolts, it's time to kind of look somewhere else for a different director. And speaking of looking for new directors, is it I guess time for the Batman Part 2 to find its new director. Matt Reeves no longer directing the Batman Part 2, with sequel set for production in 2026 with no director attached. That's a biggie. Obviously, he's got some health concerns right now, and you can't blame anybody for not
stepping away for their own health, which is completely understandable.
100%. And you, on a personal note, you got a good heart. You always want to make sure everyone's doing their best in that. So it's definitely understandable that he needs to step away. So I haven't seen it myself. I've only seen clips just because
me either.
I can't. I've seen the first Batman, but I haven't seen the Penguin series, which won awards. A lot of people loved it. it was a Matt Reeves idea. He threw his 2 cents in there and all that, but they had a different director for that series. Do you think they can find lightning in a bottle like that again for the Batman 2 with a different director?
Potentially, as if they use the people who worked on the Penguin show. I haven't watched it, but I've read that it was very well received.
Yeah, same.
They could definitely have a good time with that.
Might even be in better hands than with Matt Reeves.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe make it a little more grounded.
Are they using Rob Pattinson again as Batman?
They are using the Pattinson again as Batman. We may have touched base on this the last time we talked. Like, I'll be honest, I hated his Bruce Wayne. I didn't think his Batman was all too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. He
Good
was
stuff.
an awesome. Yeah, he was like, I know, and I could be one of them. Be like, why did you race swap this guy? But he honestly was very Gordon-y, and he nailed it. Is probably the highlight of the movie for me. Back to our Andor conversation. I love the circus and all, but not a great Alfred. Just putting that out there for you.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
He is a good actor though when he's given the right material.
Yeah, not going to disagree with you on that. Like I said, just he wasn't my cup of tea for the Butler, so to speak. Do you think the Batman franchise at this point can even succeed when going up against the James Gunn's DCU?
Oh, Batman's pretty oversaturated at this point.
Yeah.
There's a lot in the Batman world. Like, you've even got that, what was it called? Gotham, that TV show?
Yeah.
That TV show actually had a really good Alfred in it. I don't remember who played him, but I did like who was doing Alfred.
Yeah, overall that show wasn't too bad. Gordon's girlfriend, if she wasn't past the years now, she would have made an amazing Wonder Woman. She was also Deadpool's girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
She was also in Firefly.
Yes, she was. And also had one of Sutherland's not so known half brothers, Logue Sutherland, who was it's escaping me right now. Bullock. Yeah, just throwing that out there for.
Oh, we got some comments in the chat.
Oh, there we go. Let's see. Matt Reeves was the one that wanted the series super grounded. Many wanted it to be more fantastic, and Pertwee. Not sure what Pertwee means, but why have the damned? We do appreciate you dropping in. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend, and yeah. Thanks for joining us. We're at the tail end of the show, but either way, appreciate your support. Much love going out to you. Do appreciate it.
Sean Pertwee was Alfred in Gotham.
Thanks, brother. Sean Pertwee was Alfred in Gotham, as Brass Lantern just stated.
Yeah, he was great.
Great little factoid there. Much appreciated. Do you think they should even have two competing universes at this point?
No.
It's
too much.
I agree. I just, and we're going to be almost 7 years removed from the Batman. Like at this point, maybe it's just best to bow out. Said, hey, it was a successful one and done, but just let James Gunn go forward with his DCU. That said, production's slated for 2026. No director attached yet. Do you think this movie even gets to production, or do you think Warner Brothers swallows whatever costs that they've had and just say, hey, we're just moving forward with James Gunn at this point.
Yeah, I could see it getting cancelled altogether.
Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure that this one's not going to see the light of day. I think it was a one and done. I know the Penguin hasn't been renewed, and they're not going to be renewing a second season. So I think the writing's on the wall for the Batman 2. And I think it's just a lot of hopium people are smoking if they think this one's going to be going forward. I think Pattinson has better things to do. Serkis has better things to do. I think it is time everybody just kind of moves on and goes on. And you know what, like, even though, like, because it's like, again, the Penguin is someone like that you would probably still want inside of the series, and even Colin Farrell's not big on wanting to redo that again.
Yeah, Why of the Damned made a good comment just then too.
Just taking the poke. MCU and DCU both have mishandled their properties spectacularly. Reset.
Agreed. 100%.
YouTube of the Damned. There you go. Yeah. Lantern. She said it all right there. Agree 100%. Just time for an overall reset. And yeah. You know, I'd even hang up Doomsday after Secret War story. It would almost be easier to take a couple of years break if they are going to do a full reboot. DCU, they're just going into it, so that would be a lot harder to do Superman and say, okay, we're going to take 5 years or whatever and rethink things. But MCU for sure, I think could handle even like a
good rest.
Yeah.
They need to sit down in a big room and discuss what are we going to do moving forward, and they need to have a really coherent plan to make it successful again.
I think maybe we should have Brass Lantern at that table making some of them decisions. It would all be Marvel Girl and X-Men movies going forward. Bleach, the live action series. No, don't ruin my anime. Yeah.
There's already a live action movie out there for Bleach, and it is not great.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say I'd have to check it out, but if you're telling me it's not great, I'm gonna take your word on that. Do you think Matt Reeves would have been better off trying to start some form of shared universe before Matt Gunn stepped in? Like maybe even in the Batman one, alluding to like a Superman or a Lantern or something like that.
That could have been viable, but I don't think they were planning that far in advance, to be honest.
I don't think so either. I feel like maybe that was a short-sighted move by Reeves. Again, like you said, probably wasn't planning on it that far ahead. Just kind of wanted to see how his one movie was done. I think he would have been smart to at least have a treatment of some sort written that alluded to it. So, and not that he would have ever expected James Gunn to come in, but I think as someone who knows the industry, he should have had an ace up his sleeve in case something ever were to come up. That's my final question on that. The Batman 2, is it dead in the water?
Yeah. I don't think they're going to make another one.
Gotta agree with you 100% on that. I think it's done. I don't think part 2 is getting made. Like I said, I just think it's a whole lot of hopium that people are smoking and kind of hoping for the best. That's not going to happen. With that, those are the topics for the night. Definitely all sorts of fun. Appreciate everybody who've been dropping in to check out Brass Lantern and Papa South. You got anything on the go for this week, Brass Lantern?
Oh, I'm going to watch Godzilla -1, like you suggested.
Yeah.
Probably catch up on some Marvel films that I haven't watched yet, just to see what's really going on there. No high hopes for it to be good.
Maybe start like 20 minutes of it and then check out that Shogun if you get the chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'd probably do some watch parties, hopefully.
Do you know what? We'll definitely be in touch on the Twitter X and all that to see if we get, because I think that'd be all sorts of fun for sure. How's your budget coming along on the gaming computer?
Oh, it's almost tax back time as well. I'm excited.
So
it's getting there. Oh yeah.
Just for anybody else that's so watching us out there, Brass Lantern will be streaming some gaming in the near future. She's just getting some dollars together for a new gaming computer that can handle what was the game again?
Oh, Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
There you go. And definitely make sure you're checking her out. We'll make
and I'll always be playing Minecraft.
There you go. And we'll make sure we give Brass Lantern all sorts of plugs, and maybe even join in on the live chat while she's doing that as well. We're looking forward to that. As always, thank you for being the co-host. And
thanks for having me.
Anytime. And do you know what? As we reconvene in 2 weeks, we'll have some new graphics and new stuff at the beginning to make it official. The Papa South podcast / Brass Lantern broadcast. Looking forward to doing that. And just for myself, next Sunday, Papa South will be making a return to the Neon TARDIS live.
Let's go.
Yeah, he's going to be moving the streams to Sunday just because it works out better with a couple of the guests in the panel on there. So totally looking forward to that. Make sure I believe his links are in the descriptions below. If not, I'll do a post on Twitter X to make sure everybody checks it out. Great one to subscribe to. And then so that'll be every Sunday. Not this Sunday. We'll be reconvening next Sunday, which also means the night before, because there'll be 2 weeks. We'll be having another podcast with me and Brass Lantern. So totally looking forward to that. Looking forward to everybody to join us and just have a good old time with that. As always, like to thank our producer, best friend podcast, Patti, guy who makes our music, the Resonator, our sound manager, Technotions, and of course, again, co-host Brass Lantern, of course, your host, Papa South, for joining us. We wish you a safe journey, safe passage to wherever you be coming from, wherever you may be going to. We thank you for joining us on the Papa South podcast / Brass Lantern broadcast. Have a good night, everybody.
Podcast Pad. Technotions. Brass Lantern. The Resonator.
Papa South.